All right, we're waiting on the Secretary of Commerce to arrive. She is at the White House, so she's coming en route. What I'd like to do while we're waiting for that is we have a new, we're celebrating our 95th anniversary. We have a new CEO. He is from Miami, Florida. He has his own company doing all kinds of technology. And he is the new CEO of LULAC. Let's give a big hand to Juan Poano.
Good morning, everyone. I did not have prepared remarks for this, but it's really good to see so many faces out there today. As Domingo said, my name is Juan Poano. I'm a young kid from Miami, Florida. Mom's Colombian, my dad's Peruvian. Have worked very hard to give me every opportunity that I have in life. And it has really been an honor to be here with you and to lead this great organization. As we look out on the 95th year for LULAC, I see an organization that has incredible history and that has impacted the life of every Latino, whether they know it or not. From 1929 in Corpus Christi, Texas, to the work that they've done in the case of Hernandez versus the state of Texas, where Latinos did not have the ability to serve on juries. In 1956, it wasn't that long ago, right? The little school of 400, which was not to teach 400 children, but to teach for children 400 English words so they can better assimilate to the American culture and society, that went on to become the precursor to Project Head Start, the Westminster case in California, to desegregate the schools out west. LULAC has been at the forefront of this fight, and I'm very proud to lead it into the next year and into the next century. This organization has absolutely incredible potential. I've had a chance to speak with a lot of board members, a lot of the individual council presidents, and a lot of the individual members, and I feel the love. I feel the love. There's absolutely incredible support in this room and around this country. But it's our job to take what we learn here today and take it back home into our communities, to share these experiences, to build these relationships and network so we have a support system, so we could be out there fighting for the rights of our family, for our mothers, for our fathers, and for our children. But what concerns me the most is that LULAC has been there to fight for the protection of civil rights for Latinos, and it will always continue to be there. But the challenge that we have is, as we look towards the future, the advancement of a Latino agenda. There are laws that have not been written yet that could continue to discriminate against Latinos. So we not only have to be focused on protecting our civil rights, but advancing the interests of our civil rights as well. And so what we're doing is we're taking a look at every single aspect of our organization. Everything we do from a membership perspective, from a development perspective, from a policy and advocacy perspective, and we're going to fine-tune what we do. It's not to change the organization and turn it inside out, it's to make it better and make it the best version that we could possibly be. And so you're gonna see new faces. Where's Ray Serrano? There he is. We have a new director of research and policy. We can't just be focused on policy. We have to also be focused on research and understanding the empirical data that informs the policy. And so we're very happy to have Ray join our staff, for example. And you're going to continue to see new names of new folks. And my goal is to make it as diverse as our community is. We need to be the reflection of the people that we see everywhere that we go. My mom's Colombian, my dad's Peruvian, right? When I tell people I'm from Miami, they think I'm Cuban. My wife is Cuban. My kids are Cuban now, right? When I was in New York, I was Puerto Rican or Dominicano. And when I lived in Austin, Texas, I was Mexicano. But we are all those things. And I want LULAC to be the best of who we are. And so we have a brand new plan. We're going to make that available online so everyone can clearly see with transparency everything that we're doing. And we're going to invest in growing this membership. We have 535 councils, 33 states, 145,000 members in all 50 states, and my goal is to get us to over 250,000 by the end of this year. And as we look into the next year, I do think that we can reach President Garcia's goal of getting to 1 million members. And it's going to take a lot of work, but we're going to invest in that. And from a programmatic perspective, we have some really exciting things that we're going to be announcing very soon. A partnership with Duke University for small business empowerment hasn't been done before. This organization really is the pillar of our community. It is a legacy organization, but we have to reimagine what it looks like in the next century. Because it's important not just for us, for the veteranos that are here, but for our future generations in our communities and also in Washington, D.C. President Garcia and I have been going agency to agency. We met with Secretary Raimondo's folks 4 months ago, and now we're welcoming here today to address for the first time LULAC and the Latino community. It's never happened before. We have the pleasure of Assistant Secretary Alejandra Castillo from the EDA, who has deployed over $6.2 billion from an economic development perspective to build capacity at a local level. We're going to welcome Secretary Becerra tomorrow from HHS, who's doing absolutely incredible work to help treat the issues of obesity in our community. And we'll have Secretary Deb Haaland from the Department of the Interior. And we're continuing these conversations at the EPA and at the White House. And we're going to continue to press not just a advocacy strategy in Washington, D.C. from a federal level, but also at a local level in our communities. We want to give you the tools that you need to be able to advocate locally with your Congress people. And so tomorrow, we're going to be on the Hill. We have over 100 of you that are going to be joining us doing Capitol Hill visits. And I couldn't be more proud. And I couldn't be more proud of the turnout today. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank Domingo for the opportunity to take on this challenge. And I want to thank the board for the opportunity to do so as well. I'm very excited. I am always available. I do not have an executive assistant. You email me, you call me. I'm here for you all. Thank you.
All right, I want to recognize a couple of people in the audience that I haven't had a chance to recognize. The first Latina national president of LULAC is in the house from all the way from El Paso, Texas, Belén Robles. Former national president all the way from Dallas, Texas, Hector Flores. And I see that several of our board members are arriving. James Fukuda, Vice President for the Northeast. I think I saw Jacob Sandoval from California. California State Director, all the way from Los Angeles. You ready? Okay, go ahead. Okay, looks like our speakers are here, so we're ready to start the program.
First Lady of LULAC.
No está aquí. I'll introduce her, though. Se enoja. She's the dentist, by the way. So I got to introduce her. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Deputy Secretary of Commerce. She is Alejandra Castillo. She is here and has been instrumental in making sure that Latinos and Latinas are at the table as we talk about building infrastructure, technology centers, and opportunities for Latinos and Latinas in the United States. She has been a strong advocate. She's a former CEO of the YWCA and a strong, active Latina who all of y'all should get to know. Let's welcome Alejandra Castillo.
Good morning. Muy buenos días. Tenemos siempre que hacer unas cuantas palabras o decir unas cuantas palabras en español porque tenemos que honrar nuestra cultura, las abuelitas que trataron tanto de enseñarnos el español, pero más importante aún porque nuestra lengua, nuestra cultura es lo que nos une en muchas maneras. So I always start a little bit in Spanish because, you know, we live in so many different worlds. And my speech today is really to highlight people, places, and possibilities. At the Economic Development Administration, as Domingo said, and thank you, Domingo, for your leadership, we've been entrusted with $6.2 billion to invest in America. And I highlight that, investing in America, because so many of our communities have been left out, right? You can walk in the places that we call home. I grew up in Corona, Queens, New York. And, you know, it was the epicenter of the pandemic. I saw the hospital in which I was born really be one of those first hospitals that did not, that had the number of deaths. But I mentioned the places we call home because EDA's work is about building the ecosystems that support communities. At the Department of Commerce, and you're going to hear very shortly from our secretary, that's what we do every day, finding those places that need that support. And I'm so happy to hear from folks who are here from El Paso, from Oregon, because those two places in particular were among our Build Back Better awardees. We invested $88 million in Fresno, Merced area. Anyone here from Fresno? And it's about Latino communities all across the country. But when we speak about equity, when we talk about equity, we are talking about geographies and demographies. We're talking about places across the country, rural America, places around the country that have so much talent. They have all the ingredients, but they need that support to take it to the next level. And right now, under the Biden-Harris administration, you're going to hear about it across the next 2 days, it's about building that framework, that arc of the future of our economy. And whether you're blue or red, we see green. We see growth. And that's what this is about. I have yet to find any disagreement about economic development. Because when a bridge falls, when a road is not built, when there's no broadband, when there's no opportunities for minority-owned businesses or small businesses across the country, people recognize and understand how important it is to have those dollars to be there. I also want to recognize my colleague, Mara Candelaria Reardon, who's here from the National Telecommunication and Information Administration. It's a mouthful, right? NTIA, because you know everything in Washington is an acronym. But the true story of NTIA, and I'm sure the Secretary will go deeper into that, is $48 billion so that no American, no one in this country is left without broadband. So it's not just the physical infrastructure, it's also the digital infrastructure and the human infrastructure. This is an incredible audience because I see the faces of the leaders of today. You're not the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of today. And I want to thank you for coming all the way out to Washington, D.C. Because if I look back at when I was your age, this was a world that was not necessarily created for me. But I love the fact, and I want to celebrate you all for having the curiosity, for having the determination to learn how government works. I believe in government, but I also know government is not the solution to everything. What I do know is that partnership, collaboration, coalition building, being able to sit at a table and create the vision of your communities together, and then leverage your federal and state and local government. Leverage philanthropy, leverage the private sector. That is how we create opportunities for all. So I want to make sure that not only do I congratulate you, but I also challenge you. You know, I want to challenge you. As you go through the day, take notes. You know, send us an email. I too am very accessible, acastillo@eda.gov. Tell us what your ideas are. Help us be better, because it is coming together where the strength of our nation is most seen. It's not by tearing us apart. We may disagree, but one thing we know, we want to make sure our economy is strong and our national security is strengthened. So I will continue to challenge you, but I know that the next speaker is also going to challenge you as well. And I'm delighted to be able to introduce Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo, who, yes, please a round of applause. You know, it's exciting to see leaders in action. And I have the great privilege of seeing and working with Secretary Raimondo. Not only did she become the first woman to lead, to be the governor of Rhode Island. Anyone here from Rhode Island? Well, I will tell you that there's a whole group of Latinos in Rhode Island who cheer Secretary Raimondo for what she did in Rhode Island. But I also want you to know what she's doing for our nation. And she's going to engage in a very, I'm sure, a very informative conversation and discussion. But I also want to tell you that she cares. She cares about the youth. She cares about workforce development. She cares about how we position ourselves, not just with regard to our economy, but also with regard to our national security. So with that, let me introduce Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo.
Hello. We just want to make sure we got audio here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Buenos días.
Es un placer estar con ustedes. Mi nombre es Pedro Rojas. My name is Pedro Rojas. I'm the White House Correspondent for Univision Network News. And so it is an honor to be with all of you this morning. So I had several questions. Let's see if we can get to all of them.
Okay, let's do it.
First, Madam Secretary, you are the first U.S. Secretary of Commerce to come to LULAC since its founding 95 years ago. Can you? So, we're excited.
Yeah.
Can you discuss why you thought it was important to be here this morning? And would you give us an overview of your priorities at the department?
Yes, thank you. I can't believe that I'm the first one. The others were missing out. I feel honored to be here, and I love seeing all the young people. It's exciting. It's exciting. So it's important to be here because so many of the things that we are doing at the Commerce Department relate to a lot of what LULAC does. So for example, we are providing internet, broadband, to every American. The Commerce Department's investing $50 billion to make sure every American, every community, every person, everywhere has access to the internet. And we're actually partnering with a lot of HSIs, and we've already given money to certain HSIs so that the students have the internet. The stories I've heard are so heartbreaking. You know, kids can't do their homework, can't start a small business without the internet. So that's one thing that we're doing. We're investing hugely in minority-owned businesses. Part of the Commerce Department is called MBDA, Minority Business Development Agency. It's the only federal agency dedicated exclusively to providing support to minority-owned small businesses. And I will say we're also doing a ton around job training. You know, everybody deserves a chance to get a job. Everyone, all these young people, you deserve a chance to get a job. You're smart, you're hardworking, you need the skills. And so we're doing a lot of that work too.
Thank you. So the Department of Commerce is promoting several business opportunities, as you stated, because of the laws that were passed during the first couple of years of the Biden administration. Can you please explain how this capital readiness program, which is one of them, works in supporting minority and other underserved entrepreneurs?
Perfect. Thank you for asking that question. So this is super exciting. We have, I think it's $125 million that we are currently putting out to small minority-owned businesses all over the country to support their growth. It's called a Capital Readiness Program. It's being run by us through the MBDA. And it's a lot of money. It's real money to help small businesses develop. You know, my experience, I used to own a small business. When you get into business, if you open a restaurant or IT services or a clothing store or a bakery shop, you're really good at that thing. You might not be good at accounting, keeping the books, doing finances, sales, competition, negotiation. So we're trying to provide a lot of support for those services so small minority-owned businesses can become big minority-owned businesses.
In regards of the workforce, which is another huge item, and I understand that you are really inclined to talk about that one. There are needs across the country. What can we, or can be done now to boost workforce development to prepare Latinos for successful careers? Do you have any advice for professionals and young entrepreneurs such as this crowd that we have here with us interested in pursuing opportunities in these fields?
Yes, I am obsessed with this topic. Here's my advice to all you young people, and even the less young people like me. Our economy needs you, okay? People say to me all the time, oh, Secretary, you're talking about job training and child care because it's a social issue. Diversity, they tell me, is a social issue. That's baloney. It's math. We don't have enough workers, right? I'm working on the semiconductor program right now. We're going to be creating with companies probably 20 new huge semiconductor manufacturing facilities all over the country. That'll create maybe 200,000 new jobs. There's a labor shortage right now. We need you to get the skills you need to go get those jobs. Average salary, $100,000 a year. Engineering, cyber technicians, jobs up and down, IT jobs, AI jobs. So it's critical. I always say, I learned as governor, people don't want a handout. There's not a single person here who wants something for nothing, but you do want a chance, right? You want a chance. You want an education to work hard to get a good job. And this is just so give me 1 second. But prior to this job, I was the governor of Rhode Island. Has anyone been to Rhode Island? Oh, yay. Okay, if you haven't been, you have to go. Rhode Island, the Latino population in Rhode Island has grown 40% in the past 10 years. It's the fastest growing population in our state. And we were just chatting. It gives Rhode Island's economy dynamism. And when I was the governor, I put through an initiative, 2 years tuition-free community college. Within a couple of years of saying everyone could get a community college degree, no tuition, the on-time graduation rate of the Latino population went up 500%. 500%. So what does that tell you? You know what it tells me? There were thousands of smart, hardworking, talented Latinos in Rhode Island who just didn't have the money. They just didn't have the money to pay the tuition. So my job now as secretary, as governor, is get rid of the barriers to unlock the talent of the Latino population, which will supercharge this economy. So that's why I do it.
Could the immigrant population play an important role to cover that workforce needs that are across the country?
Absolutely. I think that completely. Once again, my experience in Rhode Island was in my state, it was the Latino population that benefited the most from all of our free community college, job training. We did a cyber technician apprenticeship program. All of a sudden, you see the Latino population showing up. Once again, smart, entrepreneurial, hardworking, want a chance, don't have the money. So I actually think, I really believe this, the only way we're going to have the workforce to fill all the jobs that we're creating is if we do a much better job of working with the Latino population, working with HSIs, working with high schools to tap into the talent. I don't think, right now there's a labor shortage. So if we don't figure out a way to utilize the brains of Hispanics in America, we won't. But if we do, yes, absolutely, that's how to fill the labor shortage. I remember once when I was the governor, I was advocating to get the community college program passed in the legislature. And I was on a talk show. And the talk show host said to me, Governor, why are you doing this? And I said, because there's a lot of people, immigrants especially, who just don't have the money. They don't have another $300 or $400 by the time they pay the rent and pay the cars, whatever. And the guy said to me, well, they can just ask their grandmother or grandfather for a few $100s. Hello? Where's that guy living? Right? Not everyone's abuela has a few $100 hanging around to give you. Right? So anyway, that's why I have passion for this topic, because I met so many people who, for want of a couple $100, dropped out of school. Because where are they going to get it?
Right.
So I don't see it as a handout. I see it as an investment in talent to supercharge the economy.
Keep going, and topics that we thought that were important for this short interview. In the administration, is the administration considering any ideas for promoting and facilitating training to the workforce to be more competitive in a world, of course, dominated by technology and artificial intelligence?
Okay, this is a great question, and the answer is yes. In our lifetimes, even those of us who are older than you, artificial intelligence is going to change the way every single one of us works. I hope for the better. I do worry, actually, about job losses, but I think for the better. It'll make us all more productive, which means what we are doing is working with colleges, working with training partners, working with HSIs, working with LULAC to make sure everybody, whether you're 18 and just starting out or 52 and looking for a new job, has the opportunity to get some kind of tech training, particularly with artificial intelligence. What I'm doing a lot of working with companies, actually, to provide free training to their workers or potential workers so that people have the skills necessary. I think it'll become, like now everybody has to know how to use, Microsoft Word or Excel or email or whatever. It'll be like that. And so we have to embed it into our job training.
Recently, President Biden signed an executive order giving the Department of Commerce a key role to build U.S. capacity to evaluate and mitigate the risks of artificial intelligence. Could you please explain what is your department doing so far until this point?
Yeah, thank you. The president didn't think I had enough work, so he signed this executive order and sent me all this responsibility for artificial intelligence. The first thing we're doing, we just launched last week an Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute. This is the most important thing. We have to make sure AI is safe. Even the people who've created AI talk about its dangers. So before we can tap into the innovation, we have to make sure it's safe. So we are going to be testing the models, the most sophisticated models, before they're released. We're requiring these big companies, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, to share the models with us so we can test them before they release them to the public. One of the things I spend a lot of time doing, is making sure the most sophisticated artificial intelligence semiconductor chips can't be sold to China. These are the chips that China doesn't have, because America's ahead, but that they want for nuclear weapons or their surveillance systems. So we have to I'm very excited about the innovation for AI, but to harness the innovation, you have to put a lid on the risks. And so we're working with companies, with the Defense Department, to make sure it's safe. By the way, so people trust it. Our thing is safe, trusted artificial intelligence. And so a lot of what we are doing at the Commerce Department is just really focus on the safety.
Since Commerce has also launched Chips for America program, to boost America's semiconductor industry. And this is an important item that you've been pushing, not only in this country, but in other places. Can you describe what efforts have been done to it?
Does everyone know what a semiconductor is? Because I really didn't before I took this job. I'm not going to lie. I knew Intel inside, but I didn't really know. Semiconductors are in every piece of electronics. Your refrigerator, your car, there's 2,000 semiconductors in an electric vehicle. And we don't make enough. That's the bottom line. The demand is like this, and the supply isn't going up with it. And listen to this. The most sophisticated semiconductors, we don't make any in the United States, 0. They're pretty much all made in Taiwan, which is scary, right? So what we're doing, thanks to President Biden's leadership, we passed the CHIPS Act. Commerce Department is investing that money with companies to give them incentives to build factories in the United States. And I want you all to learn about that, because these are very good jobs. Whatever you want to be, software, hardware, engineer, cyber technology, designer, salesperson, check out the semiconductor industry, because in the next maybe 10 years, we'll create hundreds of thousands of new jobs. But also, like you said, we can't make everything in America, and we don't want everything made in China and Taiwan. So I've been to Mexico twice. Latin America has a huge role to play in this. I'm going to Costa Rica next month. I've been to Panama. We need to partner with these countries because they can also benefit with more manufacturing, because not everything will be made in the United States. So I just talked yesterday to President Chavez of Costa Rica. Intel already has a big operation in Costa Rica. We should do more, because certain parts of the supply chain, same thing with Mexico, like people have opened their eyes to the risk of everything being in China. And so we're saying, well, what about some of the supply chain in Mexico and Latin America and Costa Rica? So it's opportunity for us to work with our allies, and opportunity, you and I were just talking about this, those countries need more jobs as well.
Yeah. We also know that commerce is working to expand internet access, and Latino communities across the country are still facing significant barriers to, what are the steps that your department is doing to facilitate and to overcome the hurdle?
Yeah, thank you. So President Biden's view, and my view, is that in the United States of America, in 2024, everyone should have the internet that they can afford, a price they can afford. It's not a luxury. Maybe 20 years ago, the internet was a luxury. It isn't a luxury anymore. You can't see the doctor without the internet. It's hard to have a job without being able to do some virtual work. Even, like my parents, before they passed, you have to go online to fill out paperwork for the doctor, or Social Security, or Medicare. You can't really live effectively without the internet at an affordable price. $200 a month is not affordable. $100 a month is really not affordable for most people. So what we're doing, and I want you to know about this. Check it out. It's called Internet for All, IFA. Go on our website, Internet for All. We're giving money to states, colleges, universities, high schools, hospitals, community organizations to make sure that at the end of the day, everybody has the internet. And some of that means actually digging trenches to lay fiber, especially for people who live in rural America. But some of it is just helping you pay for it. Like a lot of times it's in your neighborhood, but maybe not to your apartment building. If you live in an affordable housing apartment building. Or it goes to that area, but as I say, it's $200 a month. So anyway, I hope LULAC can play a big role with us. We're working very closely already with LULAC in this, because the thing I worry about, I really worry about this, We want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing. I want everybody to be connected, but we need to know who's not connected. We need to know every neighborhood, every school, every hospital, every senior community center. And so we're running a huge Internet for All like communications effort, so people know when the states are doing their work to raise your hand and say, you know, we're not connected. Because we have plenty of money. I've been in government for 12 years. Usually you don't have. We have the money. We have to work with the community to make sure people come forward. Anyway, sorry to talk so long. Thank you.
Before I let you go, because I think all of these young people and everybody in attendance wants to know, from your standpoint as a Secretary of Commerce, how you see the Latino community playing a huge role in the growth of this economy?
First of all, you should come work for me. Commerce Department, interns, I can't tell how old everyone is, summer internships, regular internships, paying jobs. I would be lucky to have you. Point one, you guys are it. This is it. Look, the greatest strength of our country is our diversity. Everyone talks about, you know, China. It's true, they have more than 1 billion people. But no diversity. That's what makes America special. Innovation, we out-innovate the world. We have the best entrepreneurs in the world. It's because we tap into diverse populations, viewpoints, ideas. So if America is going to outcompete the rest of the world, we need you in the game. Starting businesses, running companies, being teachers, doing whatever. Because you're going to give us the energy and dynamism and new ideas and fresh perspectives that we need. So I feel excited, actually, when I'm here seeing you. It makes me happy to know this next generation is getting good education, good support to go get it in this economy. If you do, America will continue to lead the world with our economy.
Thank you so much, Madam Secretary. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.